So, of course, living a good life is founded upon honesty with oneself. If you can't be honest with yourself, then how can you possibly have a good life? And a person who doesn't value integrity cannot be honest with himself, first and foremost. And it's difficult to be honest with oneself if you've tried. See, in fact, many of you listening here will say, well, Leo, what's the big deal? I'm honest with myself. That's already a lie. You're not honest with yourself. If it was revealed to you right now how dishonest you are with yourself, you would be so sick to your stomach you'd run to the toilet to vomit. You'd be disgusted with yourself. You'd be depressed. You'd hate yourself. That's how dishonest you are. All of us. And that self-dishonesty prevents you from achieving higher states of consciousness. Because why? What's the connection between dishonesty and consciousness? Because consciousness is absolute fucking truth. And your self-deceptions and lies, these are falsehoods. These are stories, pleasant stories you tell yourself within your relationships, within business, about money, about relationships, about your children, about other people, about evil and good, and about politicians and economies and race and sex and whatever else. Lies and fictions and stories that you've invented to suit yourself, to make it easier for you to survive, just to hold your life together. Because to construct a life solidly on a solid foundation, that's so much more difficult. So you might wonder, well, Leah, why should I do it? Let me take the easy route. Well, the problem is with the shortcuts. With the shortcuts, those also have a cost. See, everything has a cost. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So it's a matter of choosing what kind of cost you want to pay. And sometimes, ironically, paradoxically, the costs of doing it the easy way end up being greater. Of course. Of course. You would know that if you had a little bit of wisdom. So it all revolves around truth. Why does everything in life revolve around truth? Because truth is the only fucking thing there is. By definition, there's nothing but truth. You say, but Leo, what about the falsehoods? The falsehoods, by definition, aren't true. So they aren't. A falsehood is something that seems like it is, but isn't. So fundamentally, epistemically, and ultimately metaphysically, the more your life is aligned with things that don't exist, aren't true, the worse your life gets. The more manipulations you have to do to sustain that fucking illusion. And eventually your illusion collapses because you can't keep it up forever. And then you suffer from that. And from this come most of the collective evils of mankind. So wouldn't it be better to just to realize right here and now that path won't work? Forget that path and devote yourself to the path of truth, which is the same as to say the path of integrity. Become more truthful, become more honest with yourself, even when it burns you. That burning, sticking your feet on the fire of truth, as I call it, that is a true signal, an honest signal of the fact that you're growing. It's painful, but it's a good kind of pain. See, this other direction where you're going down the road of untruth, that also brings you pain, but that's not the good kind of pain. That's the bad kind of pain, because that pain won't grow you the way that this pain will. This is a pain of purification. This is the suffering of purifying your soul and spirit. And this here is just the karmic consequences of devilry, which just leads to more devilry. Now, of course, sometimes you can go down this road long enough and then you wake up and then you switch directions. That's also valid. It's valid. Being a devil is valid. Nothing wrong per se with being a devil, as long as you're okay with it. The problem is that you won't be okay with it. You think you'll be okay with it, but you won't. It's very painful being a devil. And also, you don't understand the beauty you're missing out on here. And truth is a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing. Really what your ego wants is your ego wants all of the benefits of this path while staying on this path and not changing anything about itself. That's what you really want. That's the kind of videos, if I put those videos out there, you would be paying me millions of dollars and millions of clicks for how to do that. But I hate to break it to you that it can't happen. You can't get the benefits of truth and beauty and love and God while being a devil. There's costs. There's trade-offs. So if you care about truth, you must care about integrity. Why? Because without integrity, you're going to be opportunistic and you're going to be tempted into falsehood. Because the falsehood is always shorter, more convenient, easier, more comfortable. How can you ever reach truth when you're always doing what's most opportunistic? You see? If you're wondering, what is this truth, Leo, that you keep alluding to so vaguely? It sounds like mumbo jumbo. It's not mumbo jumbo. It's a very tangible thing. I assure you, go check out my episode called What is Truth? And then the second episode called How to Discover What is True, where I actually guide you through sort of a process of how to find the truth. Because you might be wondering that, Leo, how do I find this magical truth you're talking about? Well, go check that out. How to Discover What is True. Search for it. It's a good episode. So the problem is that when you have low integrity, you can't trust yourself. And then this leads to low self-esteem and insecurity. Because deep down, you know that your life is built on a house of cards. And you start taking shortcuts. And then these shortcuts lead to problems. And then that pushes you to take even more shortcuts to deal with the consequences. And then it just turns into this endless cycle. And then if you lie to others, you also have to lie to yourself. You can't effectively lie to others without lying to yourself. And when you lie to yourself, you're disconnected from the only thing you have. See, you are the only thing that there is in life. There's nothing but you. This whole thing is you. Life is you. When we're talking about life, we're talking about you. So the more disconnected you are from yourself, the more you lie and try to hide from yourself, you're just playing a game of hide and seek with yourself. And that's ultimately what life is. It's God playing hide and seek with itself, dividing and reuniting with itself, disintegrating and reintegrating itself. But all the lies and the dishonesty it corrupts your mind. And you got to ask yourself, why are you doing it? Why do you tell a lie? Why is lying so common? Why do people lie? Because it's very effective for survival. That's the only reason. Because you fear the emotional labor that would be entailed by not lying, by telling the truth. Like, if you cheat on your spouse or on your taxes, see, and someone asks you about it, did you cheat? You're going to say no, you're going to lie. Why are you lying? Well, because if you said yes, that, first of all, that would be painful for you to admit to yourself, and to others, it would ruin your reputation, how others perceive you, all those things you got to maintain. But also there would be legal consequences perhaps, or you would lead to a breakup of your relationship. You'd have to work extra. You'd have to pay somebody some money. Maybe you'd have to go to jail for a month or a year, whatever. You'd have to deal with all the fallout from that. And so to avoid that, you lie. I mean, perfectly understandable why someone would do that.